I make no apologies for speaking about Julen Lopetegui again. And the reason I'm not going to apologise for it is because every time this man opens his mouth, the more impressed I become. It's ironically probably the exact opposite experience of what you're having right now listening to me. But honestly, the pearls of wisdom that seem to fall out of his mouth all the time. He's a man that carries himself with the utmost confidence. He's motivating. I was going to say he's motivating to be around. I've not even been around the bloke. And I want to play for him, put it that way. So I'd imagine the players really enjoyed their first day back at training. But I didn't particularly want to talk about that. It was another interview he's done. He did an interview with CBS, who are obviously US broadcasting giant. You'll have all seen the one by now with him and Tim Steidten, which he did a couple of days ago. Was it Monday? I think it was Monday. At the West Ham training ground, all the assembled press. We covered that on this channel. I won't speak any more about that. He did another little one with Sky Sports, which was decent again. This one was CBS. I thought was really good. I just want to bring it to your attention because there'll be a few people that obviously haven't seen it because it was on a US network. I mean, but he was at it again, and I really liked in particular the way that he spoke about his role in the club and Tim Steidten's role in the club, because I just thought it was just incredibly refreshing, given that the muddle that West Ham's transfer policy has been in for quite some time. And you could lay the blame at one person, but you could also lay the blame at many people. I do believe that there were players who were probably bought on David Moyes' behalf that David Moyes didn't choose. And in the end, David Moyes didn't really give them a chance necessarily. He didn't play them. They didn't become one of his favourites. Maxwell Cornet would be a good example. I think in that instance, we were linked with Keane Lewis Potter. We didn't get him. And then we got Cornet. It's a bit of an afterthought. We know the club will do this. The club tried to do it in January. West Ham couldn't get through the players that, number one, David Moyes wanted and that Tim Steidten wanted in Ibrahim Osman. So right at the end, David Sullivan said, look, let me go and get you Wilfried Zaha. Let me chuck you a player. So we know this can happen. Actually, we had Barry Siltman on this channel a few years ago, and he admitted himself that actually happens. So I think a lot of us suspected that quite possibly Maxwell Cornet, to use an example of one, that had happened with. And do you know what? It's just a bad policy. Moyes doesn't play them. They don't feature. And it's a bit of a mess and a bit of a muddle of a transfer policy. So it's so nice to hear Julen Lopetegui speak about it differently now. And yes, that was one example, Maxwell Cornet. It could be Ben Rama, it could be Vlasic, it could be Alex Krau. It could work the other way round, by the way. It could be somebody that possibly Steidten didn't want and Sullivan didn't want, that David Moyes insists upon, and like Calvin Phillips, who comes in and then that doesn't work. My point is, I was really relieved, I think, to hear this, to use a Simon Jordan term, which I hate to use, but I can't think of anything else at the moment, but it joined up thinking, singing from the same hymn sheet. And that is very much what Lopetegui went about saying during his interview with CBS. I'm going to read to you now. I've got the right glasses on. Yep, I'm going to read to you now what he said. Nothing groundbreaking, but it's a massive change, a massive switch in emphasis for West Ham, and a breath of fresh air. It really is. Lopetegui was asked. It was a little bit of a mischievous question, actually. So the CBS reporter asked Lopetegui. They said to him, "Now, Julian, we understand that you've signed your contract at West Ham as a head coach, bearing in mind that Mikel Arteta originally started at Arsenal as head coach but then became manager. Do you have ambitions to become the manager at West Ham?" It was a bit of a sneaky old question. I guess a good question, but I think actually it wasn't sneaky. The journalist was just doing his job, but I don't want to hear that question as a West Ham fan because I'm quite happy with the balance. I don't want Tim Steidten to be particularly undermined. I don't want it. He was undermined last season too much, and I like the balance of it. So very much, was batting the ball back over the court for Lopetegui to return it then, and return it he did, and I thought he did so very well. Here's what Lopetegui said about that. He said, "I'm just happy to be the head coach. That in itself, it was broken English. His English is perfect, but he's a very thick Basque accent, and So, so some of this doesn't always come through. He said, it's a very hard position, and I'll be spending all of my time trying to improve my team and my players in the club. Actually, he said, club. He keeps saying, club. I love it. He doesn't say hard, just hat. But anyway, so he's going to improve his team and his players in the club. He said, I'm involved in all areas of the club, but my daily job is improving the team. Brilliant. I mean, he's basically saying, look, I'm happy to be the head coach. It's hard enough. It's hard enough just training the players. That's difficult in itself. He goes on to say quite a few bits and pieces. He said, I am working shoulder to shoulder with performance director. He obviously means Tim Steidten, but everybody knows their responsibility in this club. And this is important because I have to spend a lot of time improving the players that I have. Basically improving his players. He's saying it again. He's saying, mate, this is going to be a lot of hard work on a training pitch. I can't be, obviously I'm involved, I'm aware what's going on in the club, but I can't be dealing with that stuff. I've got to be dealing with stuff on the training pitch. And this is exactly what we'd heard. This is precisely what we'd heard in a build-up to him getting the job, that he'd been making these training plans, been making these dossiers. It's very unlikely that a West Ham player is going to turn up for training, which obviously training yesterday, great, loved all the pictures of the players turning up for training. Very, very unlikely that any of those players are going to turn up for training and he won't know everything about them. He's already got all last season's fitness reports, all of that sort of stuff. Rumour had it he even spoke to David Moyes on the phone. I don't know how much truth there is. I think it was on West Ham Central. I think I read on West Ham Central yesterday, the West Ham Central posted that David Moyes had a cup of Lopetegui was going to have a cup of coffee with David Moyes at some point, which would be really good. I mean, he's left no stone unturned. This is not a guy who's mucking around here at all. And his messaging was unequivocal, really. I'm doing the training. I'm doing the tactics. I've got to get these players up to speed. He says even more than that, but we'll get to that in just a second. Before I do, please may I point in the direction of today's video sponsor, Manscaped. Manscaped are brilliant. I'm going to tell you now, we've got a new promo code. They keep getting stolen. You've been on those discount sites where you go on there and you go on a discount site and you find out a discount code. I think the sites are pretty cool, to be fair. We've all used them. Anyway, they nicked our Hammers Chat, and then they nicked our Hammers Chat 20. So now Manscaped turned around and said, can you think up a new promo code? Gio thought up a new promo code. Do you want to know what it was? Hammers Chat Pubes. Yes, they have let us have Hammers Chat Pubes. So if you want to go and buy yourself some Manscaped gear, then when you get to the trolley, the basket, the bit at the end, it says insert your promo code here. You have to type in all one word, Hammers Chat Pubes. What am I going on about? What's Manscaped? Manscaped's the best male grooming gear on the market, bar none. The box I just held up there, it's an empty box. I've already taken the thing out. This is the Lawnmower 5. It's absolutely brilliant. It's a trimmer. Look, it's a trimmer for your pubes. I'm not going to dress it up any differently, but what I will tell you about this is it's so good. You can actually use it as a male grooming kit. You can use it upstairs. You can use it downstairs. This is so good. It's waterproof. You can use it in the shower. Yes, in the shower. It's got a torch. Don't know why you'd need a torch. There you go. Switch the torch on and off. But also what it has is these ceramic blades at the top. Ceramic blades are better than normal blades. Why? Because normal blades are metal and they cut you. These ones don't. They're really good. Now, sometimes I put this promo video up and there's this beautiful graphic of this shaver and then this head detaches and it all looks so easy because this other head goes on top. We all like a bit of head. Look, so this bit basically on the video, it comes off. This bit comes off and it just looks so easy. You think, there's no way it could be that easy. And then what they do is they get this, which is basically, you know what this is. It's like a normal shaver. So it's got interchangeable heads. That bit pops on there and it is that easy. It's now ready to work. It's brilliant. But it's not just a gimmick. These really are the best male grooming tools, equipment, ointments that money can buy. We're giving you 20% off. We're going to give you free shipping as well. Honestly, if you're in any doubt where you want to get someone as a present, not just that, buy one for yourself. This stuff is brilliant. If you've got a beard and you like keeping your beard in trim, well, you've got a nice fine Mexican moustache like myself, I recommend the beard trimmer. I think it's the best product they do. Hammers Chat Pubes, all one word. It's your discount code, and I think that's rather special. Right. Getting back to Julen, there's no way to segue between West Ham pubes and Julen Lopetegui. Maybe someone can think of one. I don't. Do you know what? I think it'd be disrespectful to do so, quite frankly, because this guy, as I say, is incredibly impressive in every way. He really is. I'll tell you what else he said. He said, "I'm very pleased to have a good team, and I'm very pleased to have a good department for scouting at the club because teaching players my mentality and my tactics takes months, not days." He said, "I must concentrate on that." I mean, it's not remarkable stuff, but it is. It shouldn't be, but it is. This is so much different from the cryptic codswallop that we're used to getting at West Ham. I really like the messaging that this guy, it's clear. It's very clear. It's very concise. He's not making a power play for someone else's job. He's saying that's Tim's stuff. That's Tim's side of things. Of course, he keeps me aware. We know Tim Steidten himself said they speak every day on the phone. This is a proper working relationship. And go back to what I said about at the start of the video, be it Ben Rama, be it Vlasic, be it Calvin Phillips, any one of these players that you might have thought, well, I'm not sure who signed that guy. Do you remember, how often have we said that? Is that David Moyes signing? Or is that a Sullivan signing? Is that an agent-led signing? This stuff, I truly believe, has plagued us for eons. It really has. And it sounds like it's over. Look, the proof of the pudding's in the tasting. And I'm not suggesting that there won't be rumours in the future that maybe such and such has bought this player. And I'm quite sure if we do get Wilfried Zaha, then obviously that will look like a Sullivan signing. But I will tell you this much. I think if we were to get a Wilfried Zaha, and I only use him as an example because he's the only person I can think of that Sullivan would buy now, it would only be with the approval of the director of football and the approval of the manager. And I think if we did get him, he'd get played. He wouldn't be Maxwell Cornade. He would not be Cornade at all, right? He really wouldn't be. So I think this stuff's really, really important to hear. Just to someone to be comfortable in their role. To know, actually, my role is to coach the team. And just to know that in itself is such a massive task to do that. And I mean, someone said the other day, it's amazing, quite how much the old managers used to do. Like, I guess, use Fergie as Sir Alex Ferguson as the prime example. But realistically, he didn't. He didn't actually spend that much time on the training ground, Ferguson. He would always get in. Carlos Quiros, that was his name, wasn't it? Steve McLaren, Dutch Steve. I love that interview when he did how you say he was talking. If you don't know this, Steve McLaren was at FC20. He went and managed in the Eredivisie, and he was being interviewed by a Dutch television company, and he acquired a Dutch accent. It was brilliant. He didn't speak Dutch; he spoke English. Made a Dutch accent, and I don't think I'm too far wrong. I think he said. Our ambition is to qualify for, how you say, Champions League. He did. Oh, my word. Anyway, a good coach, Steve McLaren. Terrible manager. Good coach. Actually, he wasn't too bad a manager, was he? He won the Eredivisie at FC Twente, which is a hard thing to do in that Dutch league. But I think actually it's a case in point. He was the head coach. He wasn't the all-encompassing manager. And this is just the way things are done, So I think for I was going to say Pellegrini then, for Lopetegui to be comfortable in himself, in his own role, and to say, look, this is my job, I'm doing this. He says that for me to get my tactics over to the players, it's going to take days. It's going to take months rather than days. This is why he wanted everybody back early. That's why it's important we get signings done early, like I said in yesterday's video. And I just think it's really good. Tim does that stuff. Tim does the signings. I do the training, and we have a little daily meeting. I mean, sounds simple. And that is why, obviously, David, when the new contract, and now we can believe that was the truth, that David Moyes was presented with a new contract, saying maybe not offered a contract as such, but saying probably he was told, David Moyes was told, if we do give you a new deal, David, it is going to be as a head coach rather than the manager. We are sort of splitting responsibilities, and you could understand how Moyes would have struggled within that, certainly. So, new dawn, new era in that sense. Yeah, absolutely. But more good stuff from Lopetegui. I mean, it's maybe, I was going to say this probably be the last time I talk about it. It probably won't be. I think this guy's so impressive. There'll be more and more to come, and it's weird. It's weird. I mean, I was impressed by what I heard from Steidten. Steidten's still got a bit to do, I've got to say. I want to see, more signings coming in. But to be impressed with Steidten and now to be impressed with Lopetegui, who was nowhere near my first choice. I'm not going to start changing my tune now and start pretending, I really wanted this guy. I didn't. Truth be known, I didn't. I thought it was a bad choice, if I'm honest. But he's impressing me. You've got to be able to change your mind, right? You've got to let people win you over. Granted, we've not seen a single match yet, but have we seen any football yet? No. But he's definitely instilled a confidence in the club and a calmness to the club, and that ain't easy to do. And for that, he's immediately got my respect. I just look forward to seeing what he's got in store for us next.